Hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown, continuing our Age of Sigmar 4 coverage with Stormcast. I almost said Skaven.
With Skaven again.
I fooled you. No, it's Stormcast, everyone's favorite other faction in the starter set. I actually like Stormcast.
The second best in the starter set.
Yes.
I'll give them that.
I actually like Stormcast. We talked a little bit about it during our opening video. Yeah. I really like these new Stormcasts a lot.
They look amazing.
I think they look amazing. The lore is, getting appropriately more grimdark. We've gone from them being absolute heroes to being, well, maybe things are a little... Mm-hmm. Sigmar is not a bright man, and has never been.
I thought you were going to say something about the setting, not the person.
Sigmar is a god, former man, who means very, very, very well, is a horrible judge of people. I mean, this is a guy who signed up to be an ally with Nagash at one point because, totally this is fine.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And doesn't always think through what he's going to do. And I like that they're writing that into the story more. Where he's just like, what was your plan for this whole reforging problem? Plan?
I was going to say problem?
I was kind of hoping the chaos would be done by now and we could, just get back to it later. There wouldn't be any reforgings.
How long has it been? Everything should be peaceful by now.
But that's the lore aside. Let's talk about the actual Stormcast in-game.
I didn't fall asleep on our lore talk. I'm proud of myself.
I keep wanting to say Skaven. Stormcast.
Maybe we should have had a different start. Whatever. It's fine.
Well, you know what?
The first thing we have, and it is... There's a few abilities that all work around each other. But basically, there is, in the deployment phase, instead of setting a unit up on the battlefield, you can put it in the Celestial Realm as long as you have more units on the field than are in the Celestial Realm.
Right. So in contrast to Skaven, you can no longer null deploy.
Yes. You have to put one thing on the board, one thing in the realm at minimum.
Right. Now, you don't have to go back and forth, though. You
no.
can put half your army in the realm and then put everything else.
Yeah, just put everything else in the realm. And to work with that, there is the Scions of the Storm ability, which is Deep Strike. In your movement phase, pick a friendly Stormcast in the realm and set it up anywhere on the battlefield. It's not once per turn. You can put as many as you want on the field at once.
Yep.
Pretty simple. Deep Strike them in.
Yep. Once per battle during your movement phase, so only once per battle, you can do Heaven Sent, which is you pick a friendly, non-unique Stormcast Eternals infantry or cavalry unit that started the battle with 2 or more models and that has been destroyed to be the target. Now, it doesn't say destroyed this turn.
Yeah.
It doesn't say destroyed, however. You then set up a replacement unit with half the number of models from the target, rounding up, more than 9 inches from all enemy units.
And this is a command ability, so it does take a command point to use.
So, yeah, you can use the command point to use. You can only do it once per battle, so you have to choose wisely.
So, once per game, you can reanimate a unit up to half, which is... It makes sense, because they're, dying and coming back.
Yes.
But I always kind of saw that as an undead ability. And
I think it's appropriate for a Stormcast.
Stormcast are undead to an extent.
Nagash agrees. That's kind of the central conflict of Soul Wars.
There you go.
It does make sense for how they're playing this.
Yeah.
Stormcast are more desperate now than they've ever been.
True.
It also is way more limited than undead.
Also true.
It's once.
It's once per game.
One pictures Sigmar desperately hammering at the anvil, going, gotta get him back.
Get back in there. Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, God, I only got half the unit. No, who cares? Put him in the tube. Go. Thunk. In my head canon, it's like a torpedo.
I was thinking the bank tubes.
Oh. That's
stick
better.
them in and they suck them up.
Shoomp.
Exactly.
And then they've also got Finest Hour. They're the only ones who kept this.
Yeah. The ability that literally anybody could do, Stormcast has
Which
it.
makes sense for Stormcast, because it's once per turn during your hero phase. You had to pick it during your hero phase. Only once per turn. You pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals unit that hasn't used the ability yet. They get, for the rest of the turn, +1 to wound rolls and +1 to save.
Now, unlike previous Finest Hour, this is on any unit, not heroes.
Yes, it's not just a hero.
Yep.
It's on any unit, but only once per unit per game.
Yes.
And you can only do this for 1 unit per turn. I like it. It's another way of making them elite and kind of leaning into the hero thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the battle formations. Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels. This is your poster boy formation, a.k.a. the Ruination Chamber, and that's all it affects.
Them new boys.
Pick a friendly Ruination Chamber unit. That unit has Ward 5 up for the rest of the turn. This is once per turn. during any hero phase. So you can do it during yours or theirs.
Oh, interesting.
You probably want to save it during theirs because it's like, or if it's a unit you know is going to get some clapback.
Yeah, because it's once per turn any hero phase, so you can pick one on your turn that's going to fight, and then one on their turn that's going to be shot or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's once per turn. So you can actually buff up to 2 things per round, 10 things in the game. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Only affects Ruination Chamber, though.
Yeah, which is, again, the new guys, and then... Is there any old ones?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
Prosecutors got put into Ruination.
True.
Thunderhead Host. This is kind of your Warrior Chamber one. So this is your Liberators.
Yeah. The OGs.
Add 1 to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly Warrior Chamber units while they are wholly within 12 inches of any friendly non-hero, non-Warrior Chamber units. So, basically, it's your Warrior Chamber one, but it's also your combined arms.
Yeah.
So if you have a Warrior Chamber unit who is within 12 inches, wholly within 12 inches of a not hero Ruination Chamber, the Warrior gets +1 to hit.
Yeah. So it's the Warriors get a buff for being near a non-warrior, non-hero.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very specific.
But not bad. And there's some
It's not
good
bad.
stuff in the Warrior unit.
Yeah.
Warrior units.
Next, we have the Vanguard Wing, which are the Shooty Boys, which I believe was 2nd edition starter stuff.
No.
Or was that the beginning?
They kind of came in between. They never got their own starter.
Which is once per turn army, your movement phase, pick a friendly Vanguard chamber that is not in combat, and roll a dice on a 3-up. They remove from the battlefield and they set back up more than 9. So pick them up, put them back down. Uppy downy, if you will.
I don't like this.
It's fine, as in a...
It's very powerful. That's why they put the 3-up on it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it has a chance to fail. It's only in your movement phase. They have to not be in combat. Like, this is giving me Sylvaneth vibes, not Stormcast vibes.
Yeah.
And last, we have the Lightning Echelon, which is for the Extremis Chamber.
That's your Dragon Riders.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Pick a friendly Extremis Chamber unit that charged this turn, roll a die. On a 3-up, the unit has strike first.
Yep, and it's once per turn.
Once per turn.
This one I don't mind so much because you already charged, so you kind of already have strike first.
Yeah.
Kind of, but this because in Age of Sigmar, it's you pick a charged unit first, but then they go.
Yeah.
But you do all your strike first units first.
Yes.
So this gives you double go first.
Yeah, basically.
And cancels out or counters any of their kind of. It might counter strike last because if you have strike first and last on a unit, they just.
Yep. They go. Wow.
Yeah. Overall, not as fun as the Skaven ones.
Yeah. Very, I don't want to say generic, but like...
Well, they kind of are, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Interestingly, it says any combat phase.
Yes.
Because there is the countercharge ability now, so you could use this in your opponent's turn if you countercharge.
You could countercharge and then use this, which is
pretty good.
Normally, during their phase, if they charged, they would still get to go first.
Yep.
But you could go first, even during their phase, which is... There's use for this.
Yes.
It's actually one of my favorite ones because those countercharging Extremis units countercharging is probably one of their best uses and also scary.
Yeah. Dragon's charging me.
Heroic traits.
On my turn? Sorry.
Aspects of Azir. It's more likely than you think.
It's more likely than you think.
Staunch Defender. When this unit is contesting an objective in friendly territory, add 3 to the control scores of all friendly Stormcast Eternals units contesting that objective.
That objective is mine.
And I think that's okay, but maybe not you worth a slot.
No.
Shock and Awe. Every time a friendly Stormcast Eternals unit is set up wholly within 12 inches of this unit using the Scions of the Storm ability, subtract 1 for hit rolls for attacks that target that unit. So this doesn't help the hero, but it helps keep them alive.
Yes.
Basically against like counter battery or shooting. Because it is for the rest of the battle round.
Yes.
And then lastly, Envoy of the Heavens. If a friendly unit was destroyed in the previous turn, pick a visible friendly Stormcast units wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target, and they get 5 of ward.
So this is in addition to the 5-up ward if you do the other chamber?
It's a consolation prize.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's, you killed some guy across the board? Well, now this unit has a 5-up ward.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah. For the Artifacts of the Tempest, we have the Null Pendant, which is pick an enemy unit once per battle at the end of any turn. In combat with the unit that has it to be the target, subtract 5 from their control scores for the rest of the turn. So, again, that objective
is mine.
Is mine. Now, you can't bring a control below 1, but if you're at least a 2, you're going to take it. Then there is the Quicksilver Draught, which is Draught, That's a GHT.
It's pronounced draft. I'm not messing with you.
I know you're not messing with me. I'm messing with you.
I hate you so much.
Once per battle, any combat phase, you get strike first for the rest of the turn.
The problem is neither of those matter because of the next one.
And then there's the mirror shield, which is
It's the mirror shield.
Cannot be targeted by shooting attacks unless the attacking unit is within 9 inches.
It was fantastic last edition. It's fantastic this edition. Mirror shield is great. Mirror shield was always great. Mirror shield will continue to be great.
Okay, so my number one question is, why doesn't that say infantry only? That should say infantry only.
Because it didn't last edition. Put it on your dragon heroes that aren't unique, which we'll talk about. Spell lore. Lore of the Storm. Lightning Blast is your unlimited D3 mortals. You just pick the closest visible enemy unit, though.
Yep.
Who has not already been picked. So you can't stack this on the same unit over and over again.
Yes, but there's no range.
Nope. Just closest enemy unit.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And then you take D3 mortals.
D3 mortals.
You've been thunderstruck. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals wizard to cast a spell, 12 inches range. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for the target's attacks. That was a very good one last edition. Mm-hmm. This is still very good because giving someone -1 to wound
very strong.
Sucks. And Starfall by Bethesda. Pick a friendly Stormcast units, blah, blah, blah. Pick a visible enemy infantry or cavalry within 18 inches. And until the start of the next turn, they get -1 number of dice rolled for their charge rolls to a minimum of 1.
Cool.
So basically, you're only recharging 6 inches.
Maximum 6 inches.
Or if they have, 3d6 charge, now they only have 2d6 charge. For example, prosecutors.
Yes, prosecutors. There's some corn units that have that.
That's probably one of the more niche ones, but again, you get all of these when you take this lore. So
right.
I think this is a good lore.
Yeah, and they're cast a little bit easier than the Skaven ones.
5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, 7 being the highest, but for a good reason.
And then prayer lores. Stormcast have a lot more priests than Skaven.
They have about 37 priests.
And they're a lot cheaper than Skaven.
You mean they're not 340 points?
No.
First, we have the Healing Storm, which is their unlimited. It is chanted on a 4. I almost said cast again. Pick a friendly unit within 12 inches, wholly within 12 inches. They heal D3. And, wait. Oh, if the chanting roll is an 8+, they heal D3 on each unit within 12 inches.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
It's a heal. It's good.
It doesn't reanimate models.
No.
But, Stormcasts are pretty chunky, so.
Yeah.
Then we have cast on a 6 bless. I said cast. Prayed on a 6 bless weapons. Pick a Stormcast priest to chant this prayer. Infantry unit within 12. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons, and if it was cast on a 12+, all friendly units within 12 get the benefit. So it's target thing gets a buff, or everybody gets a buff.
Here's the more important thing, though. If you only roll a 6, it's only Stormcast infantry. If you roll a 12 up, it's all Stormcast.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It loses the infantry requirement. So if you can get this thing to go off on a 12, hi, Karis, I have a
+1 attack. Who were the Draco lines?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The Fulminator.
Fulminator. There's literally 4 different ones. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, but you have to get it.
You have to get it on 12, yeah.
It's tough to make that prayed off.
And lastly, we have translocation. It is prayed on a 4. You pick a visible Stormcast Eternals wholly within 12 inches of the target to make them the target. Remove the target from the battlefield and set him up 9 inches. If it is cast on an 8+, subtract 1 from hit rolls from that when targeting that unit as well. So a teleport, and if you get it to go off on an 8,
it's also just any Stormcast unit wholly within 12.
Yep.
Hi, Karis, would you like to teleport?
Do both. Plus weapons. Send him in.
Good game. I like this a lot. I think this is a great prayer lore.
I agree.
Tough to go off, but you've got some great stuff in here.
I like the healing being the unlimited one.
Stormcast have some really chunky models.
They do.
And being able to just heal the heck out of a dragon or something like that.
Yep, a dragon or the chariot. I don't know how many moves the chariot has, but
10, 12.
big star guy that has the swirly thing around him. I don't remember what it's called.
Celestin Prime.
Celestin Prime.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to just like heal him back up.
So let's talk about the endless spells. So you've got the Celestine Vortex, which is 7 health, 8-inch move, 6-up save. Its main attack has 12 attacks, hits on 4s and 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage, crits on auto wounds. And that's fine. The main thing is that it subtract 1 for hit rolls from shooting attacks made by enemy units while they're within 12 of this thing. And it moves 8 inches. And that includes when it was set up.
So you tornado this towards your opponent's ranged guys.
Yeah. And
they'll get -1 to hit.
Yeah.
In addition to potentially being charged and taking some damage.
That's not bad. The Dias Arcanum is a whole lot better than it used to be.
That's a whole lot of text is what it is.
Basically, it's a whole lot of use as text. Basically, you put a wizard on it. While your wizard's on it, they get +1 to their power level, which means they get another cast. And they get a 5-up ward. And also 8-inch movement and fly.
Yeah, you put them on a disc of Zinch.
And that's it, and that's great.
Yeah.
Like, that's instantly make your wizard better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put a buff on a unit and make them +1 wizard? Come on, guys. Yeah. That's amazing.
The Everblaze Comet has 5 health, 4-up save. When you summon it, when it falls, it's any number of enemy units within 6 inches. You get, on a D3, on a 2-up on a D3, they get more damage equal to the roll.
Yep.
It's a lot tamed down from what it used to be. It's also subtract -1 from casting rolls for enemy wizards, and only enemy wizards. While they're within 12, that's probably the more annoying thing. This one's probably the one that got nerfed the most, because it used to be really good. But it still has basically infinite range.
Oh,
no,
really?
sorry, 18-inch range.
18-inch range.
But it doesn't hurt your own models.
18-inch range to drop and have a 24-inch bubble of -1 to cast. That's pretty sweet.
That can ruin their day.
Yeah.
Let's look at some models that, first off, there's way too many war scrolls in here.
Oh, 100%.
To talk about all these. So we're going to talk about some stuff that was really good last edition and whether it's still good and changed.
Sure.
Starting with our favorite friends of locking you in your deployment zone, the Stormdrake Guard, who had the Extremis keyword, so this whole chargey countercharge thing. 12-inch movement, 3-up save, 9 health, 5 control. Their Draconic Flamestorm is no longer an auto-hit mortal wounds thing. It's 4 attacks, 10-inch range, 2s and 3s, though, so...
basically an auto-hit.
2 rend, 1 damage, and shoot in combat. Hello. You can get the Lance or the Warblade. The Lance has half the attacks. They both hit and wound on 3s. They both do 1 rend, 1 damage. The difference is the Lance has charge +1 damage and anti-infantry +1 rend. And the Blade doesn't.
So it's rend 2, damage 2 against infantry.
Yes.
Pretty sweet.
Or damage 2 against everything else.
That's true.
I still like the Warblade better.
Yeah. Double the attacks is generally better.
And the Draconith's Fangs and Talents have gone down a fair bit. They only 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s, 2 damage. 2 wind, 2 damage.
They don't get rend, they get wind.
Wind, they blow. You pick either a Lance or a Warblade. So once again, they still have a billion rules. They have a passive where they have a coherency range of 2 inches because the good luck fitting those within an inch of each other.
Half-inch.
Or a half-inch.
Yeah.
They have a passive for the Extremis Chamber. Each time you make an unmodified save roll of 6 for a combat attack that targets this unit, inflict 1 mortal damage on the attacking unit. It's bounce back mortals on 6s.
Yep.
And then Draconic Onslaught. If this unit charged this turn, roll a dice. On a 3-up, this unit can move 2d6 inches. It can pass through the combat ranges of enemy units and can end that move in combat. Then, pick an enemy unit that this unit passes across during that move and inflict d3 mortal wounds on them. So basically, you use this during the combat phase, once per turn. If you charged this turn, not round, turn, on a 3-up, you can move out of combat to pass through them and do damage. So basically what I'm saying is the Doom Wheel's better.
Yes. Doom Wheel, strictly better.
No, I mean,
Yes,
it's Monster and Champion. It does not have the infantry or cavalry keywords.
Nope.
So it doesn't have it doesn't apply to a lot of that nice stuff. Overall, this thing does not have the turn 1 charge potential that it did.
No.
And thank God for that.
Yes, 100%.
I am so glad to see these things brought down. Because I like them a lot, but they weren't fun to fight against.
One of the only models that they ever nerfed before they came out.
Now, they are still 9 wounds and a 3-up save, so they're still decently tanky.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you saw, but when you said 9 wounds, I, was taken aback the first time.
No, I didn't.
9 wounds.
9 health. Sorry, 9 health.
9 health. They're not wounds.
Praetors, which were the bodyguard, still have a 5-up ward bodyguard. But all it does now is that you pick a Stormcast hero to be your soul-bonded charge, And while you're within 3 inches, both you and the charge have 5 up ward. So if they remove the bodyguard,
So it doesn't actually bodyguard.
Nope.
It just gives them a ward.
But it's better because it's just
Yeah.
you attack them, they have a ward. You attack me, I have a ward.
Yeah.
Ward. If you were hoping that they were going to consolidate all of the various different types of Dracothian Guard, they didn't. Sucks to suck.
You are wrong. Are those also extremists?
Yes, they are. So Dracothian Guard are also extremists. So we'll do Fulminators because Fulminators were the absolute terrors.
They were. I remember that. I remember getting fulminated, Josh.
Yeah, just removing models. They have a Storm Blast, 10-inch range, only 1 attack, 3s and 3s, 2 rend, D3 damage, crit 2 hits, so exploding hits.
Yeah.
You take a glaive, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage, charge plus 1 damage.
3 damage on the charge.
Yep.
Still good.
I mean, that's less than the 5 it was.
Fair enough.
And then the Dracoth's Claws and Fangs are the same as they are on Storm Dread Guard. 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage. They have the same Extremis Chamber bounce back mortals. That's something all Extremis Chamber has. And they have Impaling Strikes, which is if this unit charged this phase, pick an enemy unit within 1 inch, roll a d3 on 2, inflict a more amount of mortal damage.
Yeah.
So,
charge mortals.
We are done with 15 damage charges, though.
Yes, we are.
Fulminators are dead, long live, whatever the heck is next. All right, let's get to more dragons. We're just talking dragons today.
I guess.
I'm
literally only
I may be
dragons.
showing my hand here as far as what I care about.
Crazy.
I want to talk about Karazai and Krondus, neither of whom have chamber keywords. So they don't have Extremis
Interesting.
or
They
Warrior
don't
or
have
anything else.
extremis.
No. So Karazai, who's Scar. You know, you've got Mufasa and Scar. This is Dragon Scar. 20 wounds, 3 up save, 12-inch movement. I think he went up 2 wounds. It used to be 18.
Yeah. Control of 5.
Control of 5. He has Blazing Tempest, Annihilating Jaws, and the Drake Lord's Talons. He lost his tail attack.
Oh my.
Because he used to have a tail attack that did 2 attacks for everyone in combat range.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
a
the
lot
swipe.
of dice, yes.
Yeah.
Now the sweep is an ability that is once per turn, any combat phase. Pick an enemy unit in combat, roll a dice for every model. On a 5-up, get a mortal.
There you go.
The Blazing Tempest is a way better version of the Dragon's Breath.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 1 attack, 2s and 3s, 2 rend, D3 plus 3 damage, and shoot in combat. Terrifying. Annihilating Jaws, 4 attacks, 3s and 2s, 2 rend, 4 damage with anti-infantry plus 1 rend because 3 rend is fun.
Rend is fine.
And his talons are 6 attacks, 3s and 2s, 2 rend, 2 damage. Now, if you remember last edition, Karazai had this weird hero hunting stacking buff thing, like a flippin' MOBA.
Uh-huh. Oh my god, you're right. I didn't think about it.
It's a quest to get, yeah. Now he's only got 2. He's got a passive called Fires of Retribution. Well, this unit has 5 to 9 damage points allocated. Remember, you've got 20 wound, or health. He gets plus 1 attack. If you have 10 or more, get plus 2 attacks. So he gets more dangerous the more he takes.
Hey, that's Scarbrand's thing. You can't take that.
Well, it's Karazai the Scar branded, I guess.
I guess.
And he's also got Ancient Master of War, which is now any combat phase ability. You pick an enemy unit within combat range, and they get -1 attack to melee.
That's pretty good.
Well, last edition, it was just an aura of everybody in combat with them got -1 attack. Now it's you pick 1.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, he doesn't have the stupid quest mechanic,
Right.
which I hated.
Yeah,
See our Dark Oath review.
Yeah, I was about to say those keep track of the buff thing. Overall, he seems kind of like a horde clearer.
Yes.
Between the extra attacks, the dealing damage on mortals on depending on how many models are in the unit, and -1 attacks.
And anti-infantry.
And anti-infantry, and -1 attacks is better the more models there are in the unit.
That being said, 4 attacks, 3s and 2s, 2 rend, 4 damage hurts everything.
Yes.
I'm like, Archeon doesn't like getting hit by that.
Sorry, you said 4 damage, and I stopped listening because I was scared.
Let's talk about his brother, who has mostly the same attacks.
Yeah.
His breath is exactly the same. His Drake Lord's talons are exactly the same, which makes sense because they are named the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of an Annihilating Jaws, he has the Apex Maw, which is exactly the same, except it degrades.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
So attacks profiles across the board exactly the same, except he gets worse
Karazai gets way better the more
and
damage
Karazai
takes.
gets better.
Yes. So when they're both undamaged, they're the same in combat. Karazai has a tail sweep, which is the anti-horde 5-up. I don't put a lot of stock into that. Krondus does not have the tail sweep. Instead, Krondus is a wizard too. with a +2 to cast,
which is nuts.
which is really good. He's got soul shaking roar, which is his once per turn combat phase.
His rampage.
Yes, you pick an enemy unit in combat with this ability, you pick an enemy unit in combat on a 3-up. They can't use commands.
That's really good.
That is really good, and I actually like that better than his Ancient Master of War.
Really? The -1 attack is pretty good too.
Yeah, but commands are really brutal and really important.
The difference being, again, this guy is less infantry focused, I think.
Yes.
Because if he goes after another monster, he can turn off monsters from using commands very strong.
Right. And his special spell, which remember he has access to the -1 wound spell.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Atavistic Tempest goes off on an 8. You pick an enemy unit within 18 inches, visible. Pick one of the following effects. You either subtract 1 for their hit rolls, subtract 1 for their rend, or subtract 1 for save.
Some kind of debuff.
And here's the thing, and this is kind of where I'm a little sad. I guess first let's talk about points. I feel like Krondus is strictly better.
Go on.
Until he starts taking damage. Because they have exactly the same melee attacks pre-damage. Karazai gets the 5-up anti-infantry tail sweep.
Yep.
But Krondus here can reduce -1 from their hit rolls, give them -1 rend, or just give them -1 to their save, which is like having...
Sorry, can you say rend 4 against infantry?
Right. And -1 save, yeah, it's like having an extra rend on everything.
Yeah.
Now, the difference is there's two things. Number one, Karazai gets a lot more dangerous as he goes down.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, would you like a...
Do they have the same stat profile, stat block?
Okay. Yeah, the stat block is
making
exactly the same. Yeah, would you like a, 6 attack Annihilating Jaws?
Yeah, that's really gross.
So Karazai gets way more dangerous if you don't burst him down. And Krondus is also 40 points more.
So it's +2 attacks characteristic of all of its melee weapons?
Yeah.
So he goes from having 10 attacks to having 14 attacks?
Yeah, and 6 of them have damage 4, and the other 8 have damage 2. No, he's absolutely terrifying. Like, if you get this guy to 10 health, either kill him or run.
Yeah. He can be mad.
He's very angry. But Krondus has way more tactical flexibility.
Yes.
They both get +1 rend against infantry, but Karazai could reduce the save of like Archeon, Krondus could reduce the save of like Archeon, and then go punch him in the face.
True.
So, but he has 40 points more, and by 40 points more, I mean 540 versus 500.
Yeah, so just, a quarter of your army. It's fine.
And they're still not that defensive. They don't have wards.
They don't have a ward, no.
They don't have a ward. They're not that hard to kill.
They have a 3-up save and 20 wounds.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, they're not that hard to kill.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say that Karazai is going to go lower in health anyway, so...
You might as well.
I wanted to talk about them because they were my big bugbear last edition.
Yeah. I am a big fan of Yndrasta. And by big fan, I mean... she is, in fact, the Celestial Spear. But we saw her datasheet a while ago. She was one of the first things spoiled for datasheets, and oh my god, she got so much better.
The problem with old Yndrasta was she didn't know what the heck she wanted to be.
Yeah.
She was like, well, I want to be up front to, revive people, but also back here to make them buffed this way. It was this weird, like, she wasn't good on...
And in the Dominion box, she came with a bodyguard unit that was like half her speed.
Yes.
Which made no sense.
Yeah. They've abandoned the idea of her being like this buffing thing.
Yeah.
Now, she just comes down from the heavens and murders you.
Yes. She is a monster hunter in particular. But she has a movement of 12, 8 health, 3-up save, and control 2.
And a 5-up ward.
Her ranged weapon is Vengavar.
Wengavar.
Vengavar.
Who, what, when, where, why Gavar?
Range 12, 1 attack, 3 to hit, 2 to wound, 2 rend, 4 damage with +1 rend against monsters. Yeet. Then she has 2 different weapons in melee, the same Vengavar.
She can stab you with it too.
Which is 2 attacks, 2s and 2s, -2, 3 damage. Again, anti-monster, 1 rend. And the Blade of Heavens, which is 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2, 3 damage. So she does just blend stuff. But she blends monsters especially well. She has Vengavar's damage, melee or ranged, is doubled against monsters. So damage 6, flat 6 against monsters.
8 if you throw it.
Oh yeah, 8. It's +1 on the. Oh my god, yeah, flat 8 on the throw. She has On Wings of Brilliance, which is what all of the winged ones have.
Yep. So prosecutors.
Yep. They get +1 to the number of dice rolled when making a charge, so 3d6 charge, so up to a max of 3, so you can't stack them. And lastly, she ignores negative modifiers to control scores for friendly Stormcast within 12 inches.
That's like the one nod to her previous kind of dual roll.
It's like, okay, cool, that's fine. Don't give me minus scores. What she's gonna do is she's gonna deep strike. She's gonna murder target monster, and then probably die.
Possibly murder 2 target monsters.
That's true. Depends on the monsters.
The big thing is that what she has now that she did not have last time. Number 1, 3d6 charge.
Yep.
So coming down from the heavens, outside of 9 inches, statistically you'll make that charge.
Yep.
Number 2, she has way more damage and a built-in 5-up ward.
Yes.
She's also 340 points.
Not as bad as Karazai.
No. For only 160 points less, you're not getting that much. Well, okay, no, you're getting a lot less damage. But still. So yeah, overall, I like her a lot. She's a lot better than she used to be.
Yeah, but for, a 50% price increase from what she used
to
be.
Well, the reason that price kept dropping is because
she was
she was bad.
She was in the starter box and the first battle tome to come out.
Yeah, she was really bad. But now she's really great. And I think that's where we're going to end. I was going to look up the Knight Draconis, but he's really not too much different. It's pretty much just a Draconis with
Oh, you were going to go for another dragon? Crazy. I can't
I
even
have
imagine.
my biases.
I can't even imagine.
Let's call them biases and not something else.
No, I talked about Yndrasta.
All right. And that's it for Stormcast. Obviously, there are so many War Scrolls, and someday we will get to covering all of them, but it's going to be after, like Skaven, it's going to be after the book comes out,
Yeah,
folks.
There's no sense in doing it now and then going...
it's going to be, it's going to be like 4 months.
Maybe
3 or 4. I think it was 3 months for Space Marines.
Yeah.
And so it'll be 3 months before this book comes out, but it will. And when it does, we will do a very deep dive into all the War Scrolls in its own video, so you can easily scrub through it. Let us know below what faction you want us to cover next. In lieu of any other suggestions, it'll probably be either something you really like or something I really like, or Caradron, because their index is short, and so are they. Got to get the dwarf short jokes in there.
Oh, you could have said Fire Slayers.
Fire Slayers. I don't want to do Fire Slayers.
I don't want to do Overlords.
At least they have guns and clothes.
That's true. But no, never mind.
All the other dwarves with the pumped up kicks, they better run, Oh, wait, you can't. 4 inches movement. That was the worst cover of that song I've ever heard.
Bad.
Yeah, that was really bad. What's also really bad is if you don't leave me a like below. Until next time.
Bye.